You might have heard about blanket training for babies before and are wondering what it's all about and if it's beneficial. In this short video, I'm going to tell you all about blanket training for babies step by step and why it's so helpful to moms and dads, especially when you have more than one child. Hi, I'm Holly McLean, the Mommy Answer Lady. I'm a certified parent educator, mom of 9, and author of the book and online course, How to Train Your Child to Behave. On this channel, I produce videos that are all about helping parents stop struggling, so please hit that subscribe button right now. Blanket training is really about helping your child learn about boundaries. As soon as a child starts to scoot across the floor, it isn't long before they're off and running. So for their safety and your sanity, it's important that they learn to stay within the boundaries you set for them. Blanket training starts them off to learn just that, and the benefits are wonderful. You can sit at church and actually pay attention. You can go to a friend's house and have an actual uninterrupted conversation. It's wonderful, and your child will be content and happy while they play quietly. Once your child understands a blanket boundary, you can get so much more done without constantly chasing after your child or wondering what they're getting into. Additionally, when you need to go somewhere, instead of carrying a huge pack and play everywhere you go, you can just carry a small blanket in your bag to lay out on the floor or lawn to give your small child a safe space to play in. When you have more than one child, this is so beneficial. Blanket training is training, so plan to spend a little time each day for several days with your child, helping them learn about boundaries. You want to start training them as soon as they start to scoot across the floor. If you haven't done that and they are already off and running, that's okay. You can still do blanket training. Before you get started with blanket training, you will need 3 things. To make blanket time more enjoyable and more inviting to your child, have special toys or books that are just for this event each day. I'm not talking about a lot of toys and books. You don't want there to be a lot of things on the blanket with them, but a few things that your child does not see or use except for blanket time each day. Number 2, you'll need a blanket. It really doesn't matter what kind of blanket you use. Your child will soon learn that any blanket you set them on is a clear boundary, but choosing one that you can easily carry with you when you go is a good idea. In other words, you don't want a big bedspread or a king-size comforter. Just a regular crib-size type blanket is sufficient. Number 3, a timer. A timer is a good thing because both you and your child can use it to let you know when blanket time is over. You can check their progress as you're training them, and they can look forward to hearing it go off and know they have accomplished the goal you are setting out for them. Once you have those things together, here is step-by-step how to train your child to stay on a blanket to play quietly. Number 1, schedule time to train. You want to be able to sit with your child and not be distracted, so plan on at least 15 minutes of uninterrupted time for the first day. Turn off your phone and any other distractions and be prepared to work on this new skill with your child. Number 2, show your child the boundaries. Set your child on the blanket and show them the edges of it. Place your hand on the blanket and say, "Stay on the blanket," in a happy and joyful tone with a smile. Then place your hand on the floor off the blanket and say in a low tone with your eyebrows down, "Don't get off the blanket." Repeat this action a few times so your child starts to understand being on the blanket is good and happy and off the blanket is not. Take your child's hand and place it on the blanket and say the same things again, but using their hand. You can also take a minute or 2 to get them interested in the toys or books and get them started using them. Number 3, set the timer. Now the first day, you don't really want to set the timer yet because you will want to concentrate on training them. Just watch the clock and try to get them to stay on the blanket by themselves for about 1 full minute. You will increase the time by about 1 minute with each training session, depending on how many sessions you do a day and how old they are. I suggest you start with 2 or 3 sessions the first day, spread out in the morning, afternoon, and evening, but it's up to you and your schedule. Once you're up to about 4 to 5 minutes of them staying on the blanket, you can start using the timer and set it to the appropriate amount of time as it increases through the training sessions. Number 4, sit nearby, not giving them attention. Now your child's on the blanket and has started to play with a toy or look at a book. Sit nearby off the blanket and pretend to read or sew or whatever. Don't play with them at this point. This is the time they are learning about playing quietly by themselves within the boundaries you have set for them. Let them do it, and you do something else. Number 5, train them to stay on the blanket. As soon as your child starts to get off the blanket, stop what you're doing and put them back. Take the hand that they put off the blanket first and place it on the blanket again and say, "No, stay on the blanket." Look at them in the eye and say it very clearly and firmly. Then smile and continue what you were doing. Now they may cry. If so, smile again and say, "Stay on the blanket," and show them the toy again. Get them started being interested again in a toy, and then repeat the process for the second time. Reinforce the rule. Now that you've shown them the boundaries and they know that you want them to stay on the blanket, you need to let them know you mean business. Some children will just stay on the blanket and you're done. You can just keep increasing the time and all will go smoothly. But some will test the waters, so to speak. If they do, again, put them back on the blanket. Take the hand they put off the blanket first and firmly hold it to a point of being uncomfortable but not hurting them, and place it back on the blanket. Use a low tone, eyebrows down, and say, "No, stay on the blanket." If you're near enough when they put their hand off the blanket, you can catch them before they move it off the blanket and grab their hand firmly, or you can give it just a little light flick while you say, "No, stay on the blanket." Remember not to be harsh, but firm and patient. At this point, whether they cry or not, they know what you want them to do. They are deciding whether to obey or disobey. So be kind, patient, and firm. This is a crucial time where you are establishing your parental authority and they are learning to obey. Repeat the reinforcement of the rule consistently. Most children will comply at this point, especially if you do the training in short 1-minute increments and increase the time slowly through the training sessions. If they won't comply and decide to throw a fit, apply the CTM method. If you don't know what that is, see the short video on this channel that explains exactly how to do it. It is the method I recommend to stop children from throwing tantrums, and I will put some kind of a strip up here that you can just click and get to that if you need to. Once you've completed the CTM session, return again to the blanket training and continue. Remember to stay calm, kind, and patient. Do not get frustrated or angry. You are teaching and training your child to behave. It will all be okay if you keep this in mind. There are a couple more things that I want to tell you, so keep watching. Cheer for them. As you work with your child, you can continue to increase the blanket time to up to 30 minutes and even longer as they become a toddler and preschooler. When the timer goes off, cheer for them and let them know you are so impressed that they did such a good job. A quick point, all children and adults make bad decisions at times, so for the sake of safety, never leave your child on a blanket out of your sight. You need to be nearby to make sure they don't wander off. Before you go, be sure to subscribe and click the cards right here to get the next video that will help you with more step-by-step videos on how to become the most effective parent you can be. Parents, you can do this. Thanks for watching.